Hey Internet, it's Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today we are on day 11 of our Tabletop Dungeoneers 30-day World Building Challenge.
Day 11. Which factions are the biggest movers and shakers in the world?
Well, it's pretty hard to divide the known world of the GetherVerse up that way. You sort of have within Capital City, or within the Neocap, or within Kithern. So within the Neocap, you have the Swath, which is a new geographical formation that was created by a bunch of wizards that destroyed, basically lasered out a big chunk of the plateau of this country. And so now it's a even slope down to the sea, which means that it's a sort of a power choke point for trade and security and access to the ocean that the Neocap has never had access to the sea before, to the water, and by water by trade. So you have the Bulldork Nation to the north, and then you have the Dark Elves who have taken over the Deadlands after the Battle of Castle Yogg-Zu. All the Deadlands were essentially cleared of their toxic gases, and the Dark Elves that had marched across half of a continent and didn't have a country because they had just been awoken from stasis, a stasis that helped them survive from the destruction of the last world. So they had nowhere to go, and the Deadlands was now a unoccupied piece of land that nobody was in because nobody could live there. Suddenly it's viable, and now they are there as a new faction on the Neocap. The Deadlands is because of the Swath being the same magic that created the Swath is the magic that was used to destroy Yogg-Zu Castle. Kind of a bit of an overshot or an overkill. They meant to knock the castle down, and they incinerated the castle and a big chunk of the continent. But so the Dark Elves sit right at the top of the swath that goes down to the sea. At the bottom, a new city has been created, Blasthaven, and that is sort of right now a melting pot of all the different, because above the swath you have the Bulldorks on the north and the Rope Elves to the south and the Sanfei Forest. Inland a little bit from the swath you have Capital City and the human country, which contains the sky portal that is always pulling in people from other worlds. So the big movers and shakers for the Neocap are the Bulldorks, the Orcish pirates that have taken up residency in Blasthaven, the Rope Elves of the Sanfei Forest, the humans and melting pot of Capital City, and then a little bit the farther north and east, you have the Yetis as well, have their own country and have basically settled in the mountains. And they mostly stick to themselves. Occasionally will come down for trade or big events of diplomacy, things like that. Off the Neocap, you basically have, in Atlica, you had the Atmoconfo, which players have since uprooted, but that was essentially a secret society of crime families. Crime families. Atlica is all the Animalian races, and so you had Rocks and Tigrans that were the two main factions of Atmoconfo, the Rhino people and the Tiger people. But after that, since that, Atlica is kind of devoid of leadership right now. So there's sort of chaos, there's people that are vying for power, and it hasn't really settled into who's going to be controlling Atlica. For Kithern, you have active players trying to clean up Kithern because it was a king, and the king was assassinated. The council fled, and most of them escaped Githern. But now it's 3 large crime families that are essentially weapons, the port and production, and sort of a builder contractor family that pretty much control everything, and their acting stand-in governor is just hands off and sort of sinking into drunkenness and not being really responsible with the country. It's rumored that there is an heir hiding somewhere, a prince that is a child. So the players are trying to clean up the town and get it ready for the return of the actual king in Githern. But most of the other places have their own set of governments. So Mine Spa is essentially a split between the tourist industry and the gem mining that happens there. So they have 2 presidents, that co-presidents that work together, one from the spa and one from the mine of Mine Spa. The rope elves have a king and a council. The yetis, the bulldorks, the seafaring pirate orcs all have chieftains. The pixies have a queen, although she has not the same kind of hive mind power that she did in the Feywild. The connection to the Feywild has been severed, so right now she's basically just a more powerful pixie and isn't the kind of cosmic figure that she was before. The Mazigmis have a chief. I think that's most of everyone that's in charge of things. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe, and you can support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee, and we will see you for the next video. Thanks, Internet.